Friends, to read the mind of anyone, you need to know 3 methods. These methods are very important to learn. If you learn these methods, you can easily find out and understand what anyone is thinking. So let me tell you a story of Buddha that will teach you how to read the mind of others. It was a long time ago in a small village. In that village, there were 2 brothers. The elder brother was blind, which is why he always stayed at home, and the younger brother used to do farming. However, due to the presence of too many animals in the fields, the entire crop was getting destroyed. This troubled the younger brother a lot. Then he came up with an idea. One day, he thought, why don't I seek the help of my blind elder brother to drive away these animals from the fields? After all, my elder brother is blind. If he sits in the field, and when he hears the sound of animals, he can shout loudly, scaring them away. This way, our crops can be saved. After thinking about all this, he built a small hut in his field and placed his blind brother inside it. He said to him, "Brother, if you hear any sound of animals, shout loudly, and the animals will run away from here. This will save our crops." The elder brother agreed to his younger brother's idea and started sitting in the field. Whenever he heard the sound of animals, he would immediately start shouting loudly, scaring the animals away. They continued this practice for several days. One day, a deer was running through their field and broke the fence before escaping. However, a king who was chasing the deer also reached the field. The king's attention was drawn to the blind brother, and he asked, "Have you seen a deer here?" In response, the blind brother said, "Your Majesty, I am blind. How can I see a deer? But I can tell you this much, that the animal that ran away from my field is not worth your pursuit. You are wasting your time." The king was amazed by the blind man's words. He wondered, how can a blind man say that? How does he know if the deer I am looking for is worth pursuing? How can this blind man tell me this? Then the king said to the blind man, "Are you not lying to me? On one hand, you say you are blind, and on the other hand, you also claim that the animal that ran away from here is not worth my pursuit." In response, the blind man said, "O king, the creature you think is a deer is actually not a deer. It is a doe, and she is pregnant. As far as I know, I have never heard of a king hunting a pregnant doe. That's why I am telling you that she is not worth your pursuit. You should not waste your time chasing after her." Hearing this, the king was even more astonished. He couldn't understand how the blind man could know that she was a pregnant doe. He thought, how can a blind man know this? How does he know whether the deer I am pursuing is a pregnant doe or not? This blind man is saying it with such confidence, and I need to verify this. So the king decided to find out the truth and said to his commander, "Commander, I want that creature alive because I need to ascertain whether it is indeed a pregnant doe. This blind man is saying it with so much conviction, and I need to confirm it. Go and find out if she is a pregnant doe." The commander took the king's orders and proceeded further. After some time, when he returned, he said to the king, "O king, the blind man is absolutely correct. She is indeed a pregnant doe." Hearing this, the king was filled with wonder. He couldn't understand how the blind man could have known that she was a pregnant doe. Many questions filled the king's mind. Finally, the king resolved to get to the bottom of this and said to the blind man, "Look, I may not know whether you are truly blind or not, but I have come to ask you one thing. Will you give me the correct answer to my question?" In response, the blind man said, "O king, you can ask me anything you want, and I will answer you truthfully." The king says, "Look, on the one hand, you claim to be blind, and on the other hand, you have informed me about the animal I was pursuing. You say it's a pregnant doe. Moreover, you seem to know when animals come and go from your fields. How did you estimate all this?" The blind man then explains, "O king, when you were pursuing that doe, her speed and the sound of its running had already made me realize that it was a deer, and the dam of my field was quite small. Its height is not too much. If it were a regular deer, it could easily cross that dam. But that deer broke the dam and fled, and if it had tried to jump over the dam, it would have endangered its offspring. And that's how I figured out that she is pregnant." Upon hearing this explanation, the king is amazed by the blind man's abilities. He realizes that although the man is blind, he possesses unique knowledge and skills. The king decides to take advantage of this and asks the blind man another question. The king says, "You are a wise man, and you seem to have a keen understanding of many things. Today, I have called you here to find out whether my wife is faithful to me or not." The blind man responds, "O king, what kind of question is this? Your marriage has lasted for many years, and now you want to know such things. Why are these questions arising in your mind?" However, the king insists, saying, "You must answer this question. If you do not provide me with an answer, I will punish you with the death penalty." Hearing the king's threat, the blind man says, "Very well, I will answer your question, O king. If you want the answer to this question, you will have to do me a favor." The king asks, "Tell me, what do I need to do?" The person responds, "For that, you will have to leave your wife alone with me in a room." Hearing this, the king initially gets angry, but after some thought, he agrees to the person's request and orders his commander. The commander follows through and leaves the blind man and the queen alone in a room. At that moment, the blind man tells the queen, "I want to touch you." Hearing this, the queen becomes extremely angry and starts beating the blind man, sometimes with her hands, sometimes with her feet, and sometimes with all her might. She beats him mercilessly. Afterward, somehow, the blind man manages to escape with his life and goes to the king. He says to the king, "O king, your wife is not faithful." Hearing this, the king becomes extremely angry, draws his sword, and goes straight to his wife. He angrily says to her, "Queen, today I am going to ask you a question, and you must answer it truthfully. If you say a single word of falsehood, I will immediately separate you from your head." Then he asks her, "Tell me, are you faithful or not?" To this, the queen says, "O king, you may as well kill me, but I am not faithful." The king is overjoyed because everything the blind man had said was absolutely true. Upon hearing this, the king immediately goes to the blind man and asks, "How did you know that my wife is not faithful?" The blind man replies, "O king, it's quite simple. I told your wife that I wanted to touch her, and she became so enraged that she started beating me. How can a faithful woman touch another man? When I told her that I wanted to touch her, she could have refused, but instead, she began to beat me. And in the process, she touched my entire body. Now, you tell me," he continues, "how can such a woman be faithful?" The king says, "You are quite wise. All right then, let's proceed." He adds, "Answer one more question correctly, and I will let you go from here." The king then asks, "Tell me if I am truly my father's son or someone else's." To this, the blind man responds, "O king, what do you have to do with this? No matter who your parents are, you are the king of this state. So let this question go." But the king insists, No, I want the exact answer to this question. Otherwise, this question will always bother me. So I want to know the correct answer. If you provide the correct answer, I won't stop you from leaving." The blind man responds, "O king, there's no need for me to visit your mother for this. I can tell you right now whose child you are, but before that, I want you to promise that you won't get angry with me." The king says, "I promise I won't get angry with you." Then the blind man says to the king, "You are indeed your father's son, but you are also under the shadow of a miserly merchant." Hearing this, the king becomes very pleased and rushes to his mother. He asks her, "Mother, please tell me the truth. Am I truly my father's son or someone else's? If you don't tell me the truth, I will give up my life right here. Tell me, what is the truth?" To this, the king's mother says, "Son, you are indeed your father's child, but you are also under the shadow of a miserly merchant. When I was looking at myself in the mirror after taking a bath, I saw the shadow of a miserly merchant on you." Upon hearing this, the king is delighted and immediately returns to the blind man. He asks, How did you know that the shadow of a miserly merchant was on me? The blind man replies, O king, you asked me many questions, and I gave you the correct answers to all of them. If you were any other king, I would have received many rewards by now, but you haven't given me a single penny so far. It was from this that I estimated that you are very stingy. Hearing this, the king bursts into laughter and says, Whatever you ask for, I will definitely give it to you. But tell me, how do you know what is right and what is wrong? How can you provide such accurate and precise answers? To this, the blind man says, O king, I am blind by nature. If I had eyes, I could easily understand anyone's thoughts. The mind has its own language, and this language can be seen in the actions of a person's body. By observing a person's eyes, lips, the way they work, and their activities, one can understand what is going on in their mind. Based on this, we can know the thoughts of anyone. But I am blind, so I perceive through actions. If I want to know something, I have to assign a task to the next person, to see how that person works, how he does the task, and based on that, I can understand what is going on in his mind. Upon hearing this, the king asks, So, does that mean I can also know someone's thoughts? To this, the blind man says, Certainly, you too can understand anyone's thoughts, but before that, you need to work on yourself, and that work is to calm your mind. Bring your mind into the present. For that, today I am going to tell you 3 ways, and these 3 ways are very easy and simple. But, O king, before that, you have to do one thing. Focus your mind. When we focus our mind, merge our mind into the present, we can understand the thoughts of others because that person is still thinking in the present, and we also have to bring our mind into the present. Only then can we understand their thoughts. If we are thinking about past events, how will we know what the next person is thinking in the present? Because we are immersed in past events. So, to know anyone's thoughts, first and foremost, we need to focus our mind and bring it into the present. After that, the person tells the king, O king, I will definitely tell you the 3 ways by which you can easily understand anyone's thoughts. Then, the blind man says to the king, O king, the first method is to pay attention to the eyes. The most important thing when talking to someone is to look them in the eyes, because eyes don't speak, but they say a lot. If we learn to understand the signals in a person's eyes, we can know what is going on in their mind, what they are thinking, and what they are about to do. I don't have eyes myself, but I learned this skill from the revered Gautam Buddha many years ago. He was my teacher and guide. I used to have eyes back then, and I could understand people's thoughts solely through their eyes. So, if you also want to know the thoughts of others, you should focus on their eyes, such as their gaze, where they are looking, and in what direction. If their eyes are wandering here and there when you're talking to them, it means they are searching for a way to escape from the conversation, and someone might be lying. If the person is avoiding direct eye contact, it means they are afraid that their lie might be exposed, and people will learn the truth. But, if their eyes look at you without moving, they are probably honest and interested. They want to talk to you and share their thoughts. Also, see how their eyebrows move. If their eyebrows go down while they look away, they might be thinking hard or worried about something else. If their eyebrows go up and their eyes get big, they might be surprised or curious about what you say. Also, see how big or small their pupils are. The pupils are the black part of the eye. If the pupils get bigger, it means they like you or what you say. They are excited or happy. If the pupils get smaller, it means they don't like you or what you say. They are uncomfortable or angry. Also, see how red or white their eyes are. The white part of the eye is called the sclera. If the sclera is red, it means they are tired, stressed, or sick. They might not want to talk to you. I remember a time when I met a tired person who was traveling. When we talked, his eyes looked around a lot, never looking at me. This showed that he was worried and wanted to go away fast. I thought he might be hiding something. He did not want to talk to me, so I asked him more questions. I found out he had a secret plan. Similarly, there are other facial expressions that can help us easily understand a person's thoughts. Sometimes, a person exhibits different behaviors through their face. If you pay attention to a person's facial expressions, you can easily understand if the person is disappointed, very sad, or extremely happy. You can also figure out what they are feeling inside, and all these things can be determined through their facial expressions. O King, the face is like a picture that shows what people are feeling inside. Even if they don't say anything, if you want to understand people better, you have to pay attention to these silent signs. When you see someone whose mouth turns down at the sides, making a small sad face, it usually means they are unhappy, not pleased, or have lost something. You can also tell by their eyes and their body if they are feeling low. On the other hand, a big and real smile, one that makes the eyes and the cheeks go up, is a sign of happiness, friendliness, and kindness. The eyes are very important in this. When they get small and shiny, you can be sure that the smile is real. Look at the space between a person's eyebrows where the skin wrinkles. When it gets deeper and tighter, it often means they are confused, thinking hard, or trying to understand something difficult or new. The way the mouth is can tell you a lot. A mouth that is closed and squeezed may mean they don't agree, don't like something, or don't want to talk. But a mouth that is open and relaxed means they are open, comfortable, and ready to talk. As you get better at seeing and understanding these signs on the face, you'll be able to know what people are thinking and feeling inside. Whether they say their feelings out loud or keep quiet, their faces will show you what's in their heart. So, whether a person speaks with their words or not, you can understand everything from their face. Let me tell you a story. One time, I met a sad person who came to me for help, but they acted like they didn't care. But I saw a small line on their forehead. It showed they had a problem. I asked them to tell me their problem, and they did. They felt better after that, and I helped them. A real smile makes the eyes happy too. It means they are glad and kind. A frown makes the eyebrows go down. It means they are worried or confused. The eyebrows go up when they are surprised or curious. You can tell how they feel by looking at their face. Continuing, the person tells the king about the third method, saying, "O king, there is also a third language, which is the third method, and that is the language of gestures and body language. To understand a person's thoughts, we need to understand hand gestures and body language. When a person speaks, you may have noticed that they keep moving their hands, making gestures. In addition to words, their body language plays a significant role in conveying what a person is thinking. O king, the body and the hands can say a lot of things without words. It is like a secret way of talking, where you can see what people want and feel by the small things they do. Think about when someone taps their fingers fast while they are talking to you. When fingers make a quick sound on something, it may mean they are bored, in a hurry, or want to end the talk soon. I remember a time when I met a person who wanted to sell me something, and he did this sign. I knew he was nervous, so I made him give me a better price, and he was surprised. Also, when someone crosses their arms, they might not like you or what you say. They are hiding their thoughts from you. This way of holding their arms is like a wall, keeping their thoughts and feelings safe from others. By seeing this sign, you can be nice and careful when you talk to them, and make them feel more comfortable and open. When someone leans forward, they might be interested in you or what you say. They are listening to you carefully. This means they are interested and want to hear more. This way of moving their body shows they want to listen, learn, and understand what you are saying. I once met a smart teacher who did this. He was very calm, but he leaned in with interest, showing he wanted to know more about the topic. Sometimes, people who touch their face a lot, when they talk to you, can help you know what they are thinking. It often means they are worried, thinking hard, or having a big idea. These small touches show you what is going on in their mind and heart. To be good at understanding others by their body and hands, you have to be patient, watch carefully, and appreciate the things they don't say. These small but important signs, like a quiet book, show you the feelings and thoughts that are hidden inside them and let you connect with them better. If we pay attention to these 3 methods and understand them correctly, we can quickly know what's going on in a person's mind, how much attention they are giving to our words, and what's happening in their mind. However, before that, you have to focus your own mind, calm it, and bring it into the present. Only then can you pay attention to all these actions, understand them, and realize what's going on in the person's mind. Otherwise, if you are preoccupied with past events or future plans, you will never pay attention to the person's body language, and you will never understand what's happening in their mind, what they are thinking. You may have seen many great saints and enlightened beings who look at you with great calm and can tell you what's going on in your mind, what you have come to learn from them. And the biggest reason for this is that they can read you, understand you, because their mind is focused, peaceful, and that's why they can easily understand your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the story so far and learned something new from it. If you did, please show your support by subscribing to this channel. This will motivate me to create more interesting and informative stories for you. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next video with a new story.